welcome to your practice. This is a little bit different, this practice today. I created this practice as a result of a request from one of my patrons, and they requested that I create a kimchi themed practice. So this is fun, and I hope it'll be a yummy practice for you. You won't need anything, but if you do have a yoga block, we will use that at the beginning of practice, so have that nearby. Don't worry if you don't have a block. And let's get started. Let's come and lay down on our backs to begin. So we'll lay down with the knees bent, soles of feet on the mat, just resting back. And you might just actually take a moment to allow the hands to rest on the body and blink the eyes closed. So the theme of the practice today will be a little bit of fermentation, transformation. So you might just take a moment here as we arrive to consider, just as kimchi or the cabbage becomes more flavorful, we can also open, soften, grow. Is there anything that you would like to direct the energy of the practice towards today, or to grow towards or soften into today? And if there's nothing for you right now, that's okay. We can just allow things to keep flowing as they are. So now, just like we might add chili to kimchi, let us build a little bit of heat. So we'll take our block, if you've got one, and place it probably on the narrowest width between the thighs in whatever way is comfortable for you. So block between the thighs and gently squeeze the legs into the block. So if you don't have a block, that's okay. You're just going to bring the legs together instead and squeeze the inner thighs into or in toward one another. And you might notice that as you do this, the inner thighs start to awaken, and you might even feel a gentle awakening here of the lower abdominals. So we're going to build our digestive fire now as we open our arms out wide to the side and have the palms face down, just for a little bit of extra stability. We'll pick up the feet and lift the shins. So the knees are about above the hips and the feet are about the height of the knees, or maybe just a little bit higher. Now let's keep squeezing the block. Take a full breath here, breathing in, breathing out. Okay, and then on your next in-breath, let's allow the knees, the legs to travel over towards the left side, about halfway to the floor. Keep squeezing the block, and as you exhale, draw the knees back up to center. Let's go second side, yeah? Inhale, knees to the right, halfway to the floor. Exhale, squeeze the legs in and come back up to center. So just traveling at your own pace now, inhaling halfway to the left. Exhaling, squeezing the legs into the block or into one another to center. Side to side with your breath. Find your own rhythm, right? So you're creating your own kimchi, adding your own chili and garlic to the process. And as you squeeze the block or the legs in toward one another to come back to center, there's this sense of the navel drawing in towards the spine. So we've got that lovely engagement of our center. So the next time that the knees are coming halfway over towards the left, Let's stay there. So that's the inhale. But this time, as you exhale, we'll allow the knees to drop all the way over towards the left into a supine twist. And you can keep the block between the legs here. Rotate the arms, turn the palms to face upwards, and just give yourself a moment to soften. Kind of like you would add salt to the cabbage to get rid of the excess water. We're just allowing ourselves to soften in this supine twist and unwind any excess tension. And then we'll turn the arms, palms face down. Squeeze the block or squeeze the thighs into one another. Inhale. And on the exhale, navel to spine, lift the knees back up to center. Let's go over to second side. So inhale, knees halfway to the right. Pause at the top of the inhalation. Keep squeezing the block, and as you exhale, lower the knees all the way to the floor on the right. And it's okay if the opposite shoulder, the left shoulder, lifts up away from the mat. Spiral the arms, palms face upwards again, and just soften and soak in the goodness of this gentle twist. You might allow the breath to really travel down towards the lower belly on the in-breath. And watch as it moves up out of the body on the out-breath. And then last time today, rotate the arms, palms face down. Squeeze the block, breathe in, and as you exhale, draw the navel back towards the spine as you lift the knees to center. Beautiful. Okay, we'll remove the block, pop it off to one side. Just take a moment to hug the knees into the chest. And then we'll release, knees stay bent, but this time as the feet come to the mat, soles of the feet come to the mat, the feet are going to be further away from the hips. That makes it just a little easier. Let's reach the arms up. Fingertips to sky, hands above the shoulders, palms facing in toward one another. Take an in-breath, and on the out-breath, we'll roll up. Exhale to roll all the way up to sit. Woohoo. Okay, let's come forward onto all fours, hands and knees, tabletop. And then tuck the toes, lift the hips, and come into your first downward facing dog for the practice. And take a moment in your down dog to move as you might need to, right? To fidget, to fix, but also to just enjoy the container of downward facing dog, that sense of the four pillars, the hands, the feet, anchoring and connecting to earth. So now we'll move into the practice, building the heat just a little bit more, right? We're adding chili and garlic to our kimchi with a little more dynamic heating movement. But know that you can always choose how much chili and how much garlic you add to your kimchi today. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. I can't believe I'm doing a kimchi yoga practice with you. Here we go. So let's rock forward to plank pose. Pause here and just feel the hands really pressing the mat away. The front ribs lifting up away from the mat. The legs firming and the buttocks too are engaged. Imagine you've got that block between your thighs, or you have an imaginary block between your thighs, and you're squeezing the block. Take another inhale. And we'll exhale, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Okay, first flow today. We'll do two flows today. So inhale, raise the right leg up, three-legged dog. And as you exhale, rock forward to a one-legged plank. So the right foot is no higher than the right hip. As if it goes a little higher, then you start to collapse into the lower back, and we lose all that lovely engagement of our center, which we're cultivating today to build a little bit of spice. Okay, take another in-breath, front ribs still lifting, and then we'll press into the mat, lift the hips, lift the right leg, three-legged dog, but this time allow the right hip to turn over the left hip, bend the knee, drop the heel, and then just take this moment here to just enjoy this sort of softening, twist, stretchy deliciousness. And on the next exhale, we'll step right foot forward between the hands and bring the hands up to heart center into a crescent lunge. So my invitation for you today, so we create this delicious, flavorful practice, is to really commit to the lunge. So nice deep bend through the front knee, back leg, nice and strong, reaching back. We're going to enjoy rotating from our center today. So the yogis call our center the kumbha, the cooking pot. So we're building heat, stoking the fire with twists here. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, turn from center, lean forward, and just hover your left elbow off your right knee. That way, we keep our rotational core really awake and engaged. And then inhale, lift the torso back to center. Let's do two more with the breath. Exhale, turn to the right, hover the left elbow off the right knee. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step to your plank pose. Now let's start with the right hand, but see how still and stable you can keep your pelvis as we now lower onto the right forearm. And then the left forearm. And then we'll bring our right hand into plank and the left hand into plank. Let's do one more. Start with the left hand this time. Left forearm to forearm plank. Right forearm. So going slowly with control. Left hand back up into high plank. Right hand high plank. Take an in-breath. Exhale, hips up and back down dog. Woohoo! Can you feel the change of temperature? I can. Okay, left side, left leg lifts up, three-legged dog. And exhale, rock forward, one-legged plank. Keep those front ribs lifting up into the body. And then we'll press into the hands, lift the hips, lift the left leg up. Roll the left hip up over the right hip, bend the knee, allow the heel to fall back. So enjoying this little moment of softening and surrendering and soaking in the goodness. And on the next exhale, left foot forward between the hands, crescent lunge. Commit to the crescent lunge. Nice deep bend through the front knee. Press that left heel firmly into the mat. Take an in-breath. 3 breaths here. Turn to the left. Right elbow hovers over left knee. Inhale, center. Exhale, turn to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, one more. Turning, churning, stoking our fire. Inhale, center. And exhale, hands to mat and back to plank pose. Remembering that imaginary block between the legs. Squeezing the inner thighs towards one another, firm legs. And just one more time today, we'll play with this plank to forearm plank variation, really stoking our fire, aren't we? So this time, starting with the left hand. And me too, I find it really difficult to keep my pelvis nice and still as I transition to forearm plank. Left hand to high plank, right hand to high plank. One more. Right hand this time first, forearm plank. And back up to plank. Woohoo, take an inhale and plank. Downward facing dog on the exhale. And you might want to blow off some steam here, right? Our kumba, our cooking pot, can kind of be a little bit like a pressure cooker. So you might take an inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale. You might do one more, breathing in. Okay. Second little flow today. We raise the right leg up again, three-legged dog. But this time, start to feel the weight travel a little bit more into your right hand and the left hand get even lighter. You might gently come up onto the left fingertips. So we play with balance today too, to add a little bit of spice and flavor to our practice, our kimchi practice. And then you might step your left hand halfway down the mat towards your left foot. Or you might even reach your left hand towards your left shin, your left calf. Woohoo! Oh my goodness. Left hand back onto the mat and let's step forward again. Right foot forward between the hands. Hands in Anjali Mudra. And we'll use the breath and the rotation here. Using repetition, breathe in. Exhale, turn and hover the elbow, turning to the front leg. Inhale back to center. Exhale, turning, churning. Inhale, center. One more, exhale. Inhale, center. And now as you exhale, lean forward over your front thigh. We're going to keep our front knee bent. Step the back foot in a little, and when you're ready, float the back leg up into a bent knee, warrior three. So today our supporting leg knee is going to be bent. And you'll feel the back of your left hip and thigh, the lifted leg, really working to lift the leg here. Another in-breath. And as you exhale, let's release the left foot down next to the right foot. Bend the knees, sit the hips back and down. Utkatasana, chair pose. I don't think it'll be a spicy kimchi flavored practice without a Utkatasana. Okay, and now let's play, right? Because we want to add a little bit of play into this practice. We'll reach the arms forward, bend the knees, and maybe we sit all the way down. You're welcome to bring the hands to behind you to support you. Sit back, tiptoes to mat, arms reach forward. You might stay here or float the legs, Navasana. Boat pose. Imagine you've got that block between your thighs and you're squeezing the legs in. Option to straighten the legs into straight leg Navasana. And if the legs are straight, rebend the knees. Separate the legs hip width distance. Soles of feet to mat, reach the arms forward, and vertebra by vertebra, let's slowly roll all the way down. And when you get down, interlace the hands behind the head, elbows wide, head rests on the hands. We'll pick up the feet, lift the shins, and we're back in that reverse, or we're back in that tabletop position. Knees above hips, feet the height of the knees. Now, if you're like Sonsie, oh my goodness, I have had enough spice today, I don't like my kimchi too spicy, then you might keep the head resting on the hands on the floor. But if you would like a little more spice, let's lift the head, the hands, the shoulders up into a crunch position, right? So there's still space between the chin and the chest, the neck's long here and the elbows are wide, and together we'll inhale, and on the exhale, just tap the right toes down to the mat. Inhale to lift them back up. Exhale, left toes. Inhale to lift them up. Exhale, right. Inhale to lift them. Last one. Exhale, left toes tap down. Inhale, left toes lift up. And then exhale, release, hug the knees into the chest. Maybe a little sweet rock side to side. And then we release, soles of feet to mat, knees bent, feet a little bit further away from the hips. When the feet are close to the hips, it's more challenging, right? So you choose. Reach the fingertips to the ceiling and take an in-breath. And get ready to roll up, just as we've already practiced. Exhale, reach the arms forward and roll up. Let's step to plank pose. So sweep the legs to one side or cross the ankles, hands to mat and step to plank. Take an inhale and plank. Downward facing dog on the exhale. Let's do our last side. Left leg floats up, three-legged dog. And then you might just stay playing here. Weight shifting into the left hand, getting a little lighter on the right hand, right fingertips resting on the mat. Or maybe right fingertips stepping halfway back down the mat. Or maybe right hand to right shin. Wobble, wobble. And then when you're ready, release right hand to mat. And step the left foot forward. Crescent lunge, last crescent lunge today, hands to heart center. Take an in-breath, commit to the lunge. Nice deep bend through the front knee. Exhale, rotate to the left. And just hover the right elbow over the left knee. Inhale, center. Exhale, turning from your center to hover the elbow. Inhale, back to center. Last one. Exhale, turn. Inhale, back to center. And then we add the balance. Lean forward over the front thigh. Take a little step of the back foot in. See if you can keep that front leg nice and deeply bent today. And float the back leg up. Practicing balance, maintaining balance amidst all the change, all the transformation and fermentation that we are cultivating. And then right knee bends, right foot next to left foot, last Utkatasana, bend the knees, sit down, and remember you can choose how much chili and garlic you add today. So if you need it to be a little lighter, you can definitely allow that. Reach the arms forward and let's play with the transition. Bend the knees, squat all the way down, sit back, toe tips to floor. Okay, squeeze the legs in. Bent knee Navasana. Maybe straighten the legs. Keep squeezing the legs in. This is more hip flexor strength than overt strengthening of your center, your core. If the legs are straight, bend the knees. Separate the feet, the legs hip width distance. Feet to mat. Let's roll the pelvis back and slowly place each precious vertebra of the spine all the way down. Last time, interlace the hands. Elbows wide. Lift the shins, lift the feet into that tabletop shape. Keep the head on the hands on the floor or lift the head, neck and shoulders. Last time into that little crunch position, right? So the neck is long, the elbows are wide, but if you were to look down on your cheeks, you could still see what the lower abdominals are doing. Take an in-breath. Exhale, right toes tap down. Inhale, right toes lift. Exhale, left toes. Inhale, left toes lift. I'm shaking. Wow. Exhale, right. Inhale, right toes lift. Exhale, left. Inhale, left toes lift. And exhale, release, hug the knees into the chest. Let an exhale go out of the mouth if it feels like a little bit of pressure's been building up. We'll release soles of feet to mat, reach the arms. Okay, and if it's too much to have the arms reaching, then you're welcome to use the hands on the backs of the thighs and slowly walk the hands up the thighs to draw you up. Otherwise, take an in-breath with me and exhale, reach the arms forward and roll up. Let's step to plank one more time today. Just like your first plank, pressing the mat away, front ribs lifting, firm the legs and the buttocks, squeeze that imaginary block between the legs, and then on the exhalation, let's lower slowly all the way onto the belly. Okay, we'll untuck the toes, tops of feet onto the mat. Hands right alongside the center of the chest, about heart level. And squeeze the elbows in, so elbows point back. And let this be about intention, right? Rather than how high you go. So lifting just the heart, the shoulders, and the head just a little off the mat. Not really pressing down into the hands much at all. Heart drawing forward. And as the heart draws forward, grip the mat a little bit with your fingertips. And then feel as though you're pulling the hands back on the mat. Another inhale. And exhale. Lower the forehead down to the mat. So see if you can keep that same intention now, but you might press the hands down a little more to lift the chest a little higher. And then as you exhale, lower down, forward to the mat, but lift the legs up. So it's like you're rocking on your belly. Let's play with that again. Legs down. Press the hands down, lift into cobra. Lower and lift the legs. And you can use momentum a little here. So inhale, cobra pose, bhujangasana. Exhale, release, and float the legs. One more. Inhaling to lift up. Exhaling, release, legs float. And then let the legs come down. We'll separate the elbows, stack the hands in front of us, rest the head on the backs of the hands. Take a breath, and you might give the hips a little wiggle here too. So now we can just allow a little bit of cooling and integration, or if you like, fermentation and rest. Just as rest allows the flavors of kimchi to develop, we can enjoy some stillness and softening, allowing the practice to integrate. As you're ready, press up onto the hands and knees and sit the hips back into a child's pose for a moment. Arms reaching forward, forward releasing towards the mat. And take your time to gently rise and transition onto your back. And as you come onto your back, we'll just come into a sweet little figure four release. Right ankle to top of left thigh. Reach through to take a hold of the back of the left thigh or the front of the left shin. Surrendering a little into stillness and softness and release. And keeping the legs in the same position, just release the arms out wide And swivel the legs over to the left side. Sole of right foot to mat, and if possible, right knee pointing to sky. We can use, as you will have experienced in this practice, we can use rotation of the spine, twisting, to create heat, to build heat, to stoke our fire, or to churn and transform. But we can also use twists as we are now to gently cool down and wring out any excess rigidity, stiffness, tension. Let's swing the legs up to center, release. Take a moment to hug the knees into the chest. And then we'll go second side, left ankle to right thigh. Take this figure 4 ankle to thigh release here on this side. And when that's enough, let go of the legs, open the arms, and swing the legs in this figure 4 shape over to the right. We'll gently draw the legs to center. Uncross the legs, hug the knees into the chest a final time. And you might stretch the legs out one at a time into Shavasana, or bring soles of feet together. Allow the knees to separate into a reclined Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly shape. And just soaking in the goodness for the last few moments of this practice. There might be another sigh of the exhale out of the mouth. And if you are able to, you might choose to stay a little longer here today, really allowing things to integrate, to settle, to rest, the flavors of the practice to develop with time. But if you need to, you can gently bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet back to the mat. Roll to a side, use the hands to press you up to a seat. And take this last moment just to sit comfortably as you are. You might lift the hands and fold the palms and gently bow the forehead or bow the head towards the fingertips. Acknowledging any internal shifts for you. Just as the flavors of kimchi become richer over time, allowing change to unfold naturally, inevitably for us. And perhaps just returning to what it was that you were choosing to grow towards, to open to, or to direct the energy to in the practice today. Thank you, beautiful one, for sharing your practice, for practicing all the way to the end. If you'd like to enjoy longer form practices, then those are available on my Patreon, and patrons can make special practice requests too. Have a beautiful rest of your day, your week. Peace, peace, peace.